My idea of comfort is basically wearing cool stuff for my pajamas, which are way too big and oversized for me. Um, all designer, of course. Uh, Living like I used to, which was in a multi-million pound huge house, which I'd helped renovate as part of a business I'd done with my husband over 25 years. Um, it was way too big for the three of us. It was probably three or four times too big for the three of us compared to our, other people. We didn't care. He had been an investment banker for most of his life, earning hundreds of thousands of pounds. It's what we could afford. It was it's a capitalist dream, isn't it? It was certainly my dream to live in a beautiful house that was perfect. And we locked it up for 40% of the year, never rented it out. Why would we have plebs come in and mess up our house? Why would we let toxic people into our house? We and when it was locked up, we would stay in five-star accommodation around the world because we could afford to. In fact, we probably spent 100 grand a year on, or 50 to 100 grand a year on amazing holidays, which were perfect. There was no rubbish. There was no tissue anywhere. In fact, what I love doing is coming into a perfectly, five-star St. Regis suite, for instance, and then messing it up. I love that. Throwing my dirty knickers everywhere, throwing my snotty tissues everywhere. That's my perfect. It's having, you know, a five-star place and then be like, oh, yeah, five-star place. I'll throw my bra on the floor. I'll get my Marks and Spencer's knickers. I have to open it. I just bought them today. They're absolutely clean, and so is that bra. Um, ah, uh, and just be like, there you go. That's what I used to love doing. And my husband would always make sure when we walked into any hotel, he'd tell them it was our anniversary. And I'd always have a cake and some flowers with happy anniversary or happy birthday brush. It didn't matter what time of the year it was. I'd be like, as soon as I walked into any of these five-star places, I'd be like, they'd be like, oh, happy anniversary, you two. Thank you. How was your wedding? How was it? When did you have it? What was it like? I'd be like, it was in an Elizabethan hall and we hired it out for 350 people. And then that's my idea of comfort. It's like having a Hollywood lifestyle with no judgment. That's what everybody wants, don't they? That's why they try to take it away from me. Anyway, so my idea of comfort is having an amazing house, having my husband create a whole loft studio, not just the loft bit, but having a bedroom there and a high-end bathroom there in case I work so late into the night I needed to sleep in that other room because I need my space. I need my whole floor, equivalent to quite a big flat, actually. But then I would have another studio in trendy Bermondsey because Clapham's not trendy enough. That's where I just like to live and luxuriate with all the fancy mums and talk about all my VR and for them to go, wow, wow, you're so free. And be really happy for me about it and not jealous because they're free as well to do what the hell they want. And they do. They walk around and go to yoga all day long. Good for them. And so I'd have my fancy house, and then I'd go in, and then I had my really fancy studio in Bermondsey, which I didn't really use that. I didn't use it for like 3 years because I was had a baby and stuff, but I kept it for storage at £400 a month anyway. I did pop in there to organize it sometimes, and I'd Instagram that. Um, uh, I had at least 10 grand's worth of equipment there at times, if not a lot more. And people from my studio and the art collective would help me on my work with their own equipment, and their equipment was worth about 50k, and I didn't even need to buy that. And one of my fellow art studio collective her sister is a famous Hollywood actress, and she's a blonde one from Black Sails. She's in something at the moment. She's absolutely beautiful, who's best friends with Lily Cole. And Lily Cole used to advertise Katie News jewelry all the time. And their dad was the head of the Royal Academy. He's a famous sculptor for a long time. So this was my art collective. And then, of course, there was Roma as well, who is an aristocrat. And she used to complain about rich people all the time in the poshest voice. I think she went to Cambridge, and she owns 2 flats in Bloomsbury. She lives in one, and she just keeps the other one empty for artwork whenever she feels like it. And her husband is a famous painter himself, who actually spent a few years in Japan. He does a lot of portraiture for a lot of royal people. I've bought some of his work as well. And yeah, Roma's brother owns a Bugatti amongst many cars, and he lives in a chateau. He's a hedge fund manager. And she's well known amongst royals because she wore a black dress to her wedding out of protest for being so rich. She's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. But these are my circles. That's my perfect life, which I had. And then I would also use all facilities at Ravensbourne as well, through my team, who were alumni and contacts I had there. And they had, brand new equipment. I would use all their VR equipment. They offered me all their film studio equipment to use for free. Even their workspace. Oh, you can use your desk. You can hot desk here if you want. My team used all their huge studios, lots of mannequins, lots of sewing machines, and even their security guard did testing for me in the holidays. When I was so psycho with my project, I went into the security office. I'm like, you got to try my wearable. He's like, what? And I'm not even part of Ravensbourne, and they platform me because I'm part of the community. And RCA. I'm not even part of the RCA anymore. It's been years since I've taught there, but I'm part of the community. I'm not even part of Cambridge University, but my old bosses and network have gone there, and they've taken my part of the community stuff as part of their stuff as well, which is great. I love it. That's my perfect life, is just having everything amazing and perfect. I don't want bits of tissue everywhere. What I do want is a perfect place where I can throw all my stuff out whenever I feel like it. By the way, I've also got a £500,000 flat in Greenwich in Zone 2 with partial river view, because that's what I could afford when I was in my 20s. In fact, Julian offered to buy me a full river view flat, which we all know I prefer. But I said to Julian, no, I'm getting this thing on my own because I know that you already have a huge house, even when I met him. And this is going to be my thing. So I'm going to own half of all your stuff, but you're not going to have a penny of my stuff. And he was like, okay, when do you want to go on holiday and have Michelin star restaurant food? Because I love to watch you eat fancy food. He loves it. Why would I want anything different to that? That's where I'm getting my life back to. We're nearly there on it, aren't we? We're nearly there on it. I think Mayfair is good. Why am I staying here in the pub tonight? Just to annoy, just to be irritating, just to be super irritating, because I can. Because I wanted to see what you guys would come up with, and I thought I'd be super irritating. I don't have bits of paint scratched off. I don't have these things. Do you know what I have? I have perfection, like at the St. Regis, the rooms, and then I go in there and I mess it up, and I don't even use the rooms. I go and sit on the awning like I'm on a yacht, and I shoo everyone else away. I'm like, you're in my view. I have the whole of this yacht. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to be like, I have the whole of this yacht. Get out of my view. And that's what I get.